Hello learners, welcome to Bharat Siksha Academy. I am GK, your educator. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic of your general science subjects in GS paper 2 in the sections of polity in the subsection of Indian constitutions, where we are going to learn about what is the types of majority and its use, and how we are going to know about the majority, where it has been used, and how we can implement these facts or this piece of information to solve the questions in the preliminary examinations, as well as to add on the some data in your mains examinations. Let's understand. So, to know about the majority in Indian constitutions, so first of things we need to understand that why do we need a majority. To understand that, let's understand that a government we introduced a bill. What is a bill? A bill, a proposal. A bill is a proposal. A proposal of what? A proposal by the lawmakers, by the legislature to make it a law. Okay, to make it is an act. So a proposal need to be introduced in the both houses of the parliament. It may be a Lok Sabha, it may be in Rajya Sabha. They wanted to introduce and they wanted to pass the bill. The bill may be introduced by the minister or the bill may be introduced by a private member, and they want to pass that bill. For example, let's say, let's relate to the current scenario. For example, in Odisha, in recent within 1 week, there has been an incident happens. There is a chaos happened in the in the Odisha, that one of police officers has shot down one of a cabinet minister of Odisha state legislature, and that cases has been in the vibes of media and in the in various psychologists, analysts. They are telling that the main reason behind that was that nowadays the police officers has been overloaded in the working hours. They have high BPs, blood pressures, they have mental instability, and just because of they are not getting proper sleep, and they are disturbed in the mind, and they are doing this type of things is happening. So for example, let's say this time is happening, and they suddenly the government want to introduce a right to sleep bill. ଶୋଇବାର ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କର ଅଧିକାର ଅଛି. Right to sleep bill they want to introduce in the Lok Sabha or in the Rajya Sabha. Let's say someone has been introduced. Now this bill is going to pass from which? From Lok Sabha or from the Rajya Sabha. How this bill is going to pass? By a majority. Okay, majority, which type of majority? It means how many number of legislature or how many number of parliamentarian or how many of the members of the legislative council or the legislative or the parliament can vote in the favor of this bill, that the bill is going to be passed. And to understand that, we need to understand that this is what is the majority and how many types of majority is there, and which type of majority is required in which cases. If you want to amend the provisions in the removal of a CAG, or you want to amend the provisions in the removal of an fundamental rights, or you want to amend the preamble, or you want to introduce a bill like this, or you want to introduce a money bill. So in all the cases, is it similar, the majority? No. Our constitutions maker have defined that in which cases which type of majority is required, by taking in mind that there should be equality, there should be law and justice should be prevailed. The power should not be accumulated with one hand. The single majority party should not be the ruler of the country. Okay, there should be the server, there should be the sovereign of the country or the people. Okay, to make it that understand, let's understand the types of majority. There are basically 4 types of majority in the Indian constitutions. One is your absolute majority, your effective majority, your simple majority, and your special majority. Let's have a look on the both all these types of them. Let's come to the absolute majority. The constitution told that absolute majority is a type of majority where 50% of total membership of the parliament plus 1. For the total membership of the parliament, the total membership or the total strength of the parliaments. Let's take an example. You know, in the Lok Sabha, there are 543 seats are there. Okay. So, what is the strength? The strength is 543. To have the absolute majority, a party needs to 543 divided by 2 means 50% plus 1, which will be 271 plus 1, which will be 272. So, whenever in the constitution it has been written that absolute majority is required, it's directly mean that you need to be the vote in favor of should be 50% plus 1 of the strength of that house. If it is in Lok Sabha, it will be 272. If it is in the Rajya Sabha, it will be 252 divided by 2 plus 1, 50 plus divided by 2 plus 1. So, in both the houses, if it is in your state legislature as compared to it will be there. So, now you understand that the strength of that house divided by 2 plus 1, it will be the absolute majority. So, now you can ask me, okay, you have told about the absolute majority. Let us know that where this absolute majority, quote lagi by absolute majority, quote use hava. There are two cases is there where it has been used. The first case is your establishment or formation of government. In case of formation of government, what is it meant by formation of governments? When the government forms, for example, let us say in your 2019, the BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party came in the power in center, and the Biju Janata Dal came in power in the Odisha state legislature. So if you can think about that, in 2019, the Bharatiya Janata Party came into power in center, having the absolute majority, which is about 272. And the Bharatiya Janata Dal BJD has come in power in the Odisha state government, having the more than 147 divided by 2, it means total of 74 seats. Okay. So, the absolute majority is required to establish the government or the formation of the government, right. In the second stage, there is absolute majority is required, in which cases when there is a election or electoral process of vice president and president. What is electoral process of it? Means there should be needed of majority of voting. Majority of voting. Voting means the number of votes polled. Number of votes polled. Okay. How many number of votes has been polled? It need to be divided by 2 plus 1. That will be acted as the majority of the polls. For example, let us say in the vice president's voting, there would be has been polled of 1 lakh votes has been polled. Okay. And then what is the requirement of majority in the vice president? So, in that 1 lakh votes means they have to calculate there is the one member of parliament has a certain amount of value has been assigned to that as per the constitutional rules. We will discuss when we are reading about the president and vice presidents at the parliamentary sections. So, for just remember for 9-1, to get this process to be done, to be elected, the vice presidents need at least 50,001. Okay, 50,001 at least required to be elected. That is how this process has been done. Got it? Okay. So, in the the absolute majority is required in two cases. The first cases was when there is a formation of the government, the establishment of the government the first time. Okay. And the second time was the electoral process of vice president and president, the majority of the voting or the majority of the voting polled, the majority of the votes polled need to be required. Clear? Okay. So, now let us understand the simple majority. Simple majority count. So, simple majority is, otherwise we can tell that more than 50% of present and voting of the Lok Sabha. Let us an example, you will not understand in the simple words. Let us an example. मने करो कि we have there are 543 seats in Lok Sabha. On that particular day, there are 520 legislature present in the house. You can, if you can remind that before 2 to 3 years when triple talaq bill has been passed, so there is a less majority with the Bharatiya Janata Party, and they wanted to pass this bill in the Rajya Sabha, and in that at that time some parties abstains, and due to that abstains some law has been passed. Take an example like that. So, what is present and voting? For example, let us say 520 out of 543, in that particular day there are 520 legislature present, okay, or parliamentarian present at that day. But out of these 520, some parties decided that we are not going to vote of to right to sleep in the favor of right to sleep or in the opposite to favor right to sleep. We want to abstain. For let us say example, there are 120 legislatures, they decided to abstain. They do not want to participate in the voting. Now, what are the remaining, those who have present and also they want to vote? There are 400. There are 400 legislatures, those who are present also they want to participate in the vote. From these 400, we need to calculate the majority, that is 50% plus 1. So, what will be your majority? Your majority will be 201. If that party or that private member or that minister who introduced the bill can gather 201 votes of in his favor or in her favor, then the bill may passed. Got the idea? In the absolute majority, it is no matter that you are abstain, you are present or you are vacant, nothing. You have to pass with divide by 2 plus 1, 50% plus 1. In the simple majority, it means it's no matter what is the strength of the house, how many number of voters are present there, okay, at least require 10%, okay, to function of the house, at least 10% of the total strength, at least the present should be there, otherwise the house will not be functioned. So, we will later on know about when we will read about the parliament subjects. So, let now understand that. So, those who are present also want to participate, also want to vote. From them we will calculate 50% plus 1. तो ये आम कौन है टोटल 520 थे 520 टोटल थे 543 स्ट्रेंथ थिला ता भितर 520 प्रेजेंट थे तांके भितर 120 कहले कि आम वोट दबुनु तो केते जन रहिले आ 400 जन रहिले देयर इज 400 सो 400 डिवाइड बाय 2 plus 1 दैट इज द सिंपल मेजॉरिटी. This simple majority is used most of the bills in our constitutions by passing of the most of the bills in the constitutions, and for that reason we also call this is a functional majority or default majority. What is a functional majority? Listen, whenever in the constitutions it has not been clearly mentioned that it is in absolute or it is in a special one or it is in an effective one, it is only written that the majority of the house, it is written that. If it is only mentioned that majority, by default we will understand that it is a simple majority, and for that purpose we understand this is functional majority or a default majority. So, where we use this bill when we are using an ordinary bill, when we are using a finance bill, what is a no confidence motion, adjournment motion, censure motions in the election of speaker and the deputy speaker. Remember one thing, when a party want to establish a government, they need the absolute majority, that is 272 for the Lok Sabha. But what will happen when there is a no confidence motion? For example, before some year, before 1 year, 2 year, the elections, there is a no confidence motion has been ruled in the central Lok Sabha of our state central legislature and the parliament. So, in that cases what happened? In the no confidence motion, it will be calculated as simple majority. So, can you imagine? It means to establish the government you need absolute majority, But if you want to prove yourself, the government is there or not, you need to pass with a simple majority. You need to a simple majority means does not matter the strength was 543 or not. It requires only those who are present also interested to voting. They participated in the voting, and out of them, all them, those who are interested and participated in the voting, divide by 2 plus 1. So no confidence motion is a simple majority. The government prove himself or prove their confidence or prove their majority by using a simple majority, but the government will establish the government by using a special or absolute majority. Clear? Let's come to the next type of majority, that is your effective majority. So what is an effective majority? It is tell that effective majority is more than 50% of the strength of the house, effective strength of the house. So what is this effective strength? What is this effective strength? See, let's say most of times you there has been in vacancy in the legislature, some form of, for example, some have been disqualified due to the change in the party, due to the using the schedule 10th, or disqualified due to the possessions of office of profit, or disqualified due to the finding guilty and they have been imposed of jail term of more than 2 years, and they are going to be disqualified, or they have acquired citizens of other country. For example, you are selected as an MLA of your area or of your constitutions. After 1 year you chosen that okay, I want to be settled in Canada and I will take the permanent citizenship of the Canada. So can a Canada persons be a lawmaker of India? No, they can't. So when you will leave your citizenship, you are going to, by default, you are going to be out of your legislature positions. So by there are different meanings. For example, let's say out of 543 seats in Lok Sabha, so there are let's say there are 43 vacant seats are there, okay, due to the various reasons, or due to the non-profit of by acquiring the office of profit, or by defections, or by acquiring a citizenship, or by finding a guilty in the court. And some other manners also, let's say some of the legislature they are busy with their constituency, some marks they are not present at that day, they cannot attend that section, so they are absent. Let's say the absentees is let's say 100 are absent. So total out of 543 in that day, 143 are, including the vacants, are absent. So their present was 400 are present. So 400 legislators are present. Now these 400 will be counted as a effective strength. And what your majority? This 400 divided by 2 plus 1. It means you need 201. You need 201 number of voters in favor of your bill, then you can pass. So you can ask me then when we are going to use this one. Remember, as per the article 67, removal of the vice president in the subsections of B, and the removal of presiding officers of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, for example, speaker, deputy speaker, your deputy chairman, all these, okay, vice president means chairman, deputy chairman in the Rajya Sabha, speaker and deputy speaker in the Lok Sabha, they will be removed from the house due to using effective strength. अरे भाभी देखो, फॉर एग्जांपल लोकसभा रे कई जन स्पीकर अछंती, सो तांको आमे इम्पीचमेंट करिया पई चाहूचे, तांको बाहर करिया पई चाहूचे, से दिन फॉर एग्जांपल लेट से समय को 10टा सीट के रेजिग्नेशन दे देलानी, तो कहार किछि गोटे प्रॉब्लम हे जाइछि कि को आक्योर नेला से सीट वैकेंट पड़छि, 4-5 जनकर देह खराब हे से आबसेंट रे आसी नांती, तो ताहने कोन एमन जदि केबे न आसे तान तो को दिन पई केबे भी हमें लोकसभा स्पीकर को बाहर करि परिबानी. तो सेटा को माइंड रखी टू टेक दैट ऑन द कॉन्सेंस, the constitutional members, the constitutional assembly members, they have decided that the removal of the Lok Sabha speaker, the Rajya Sabha speaker, Rajya Sabha chairman, deputy speaker, so they need to be passed with effective. Matlab those who are present on that day divided by 2 plus 1. So here there is a no concept of abstaining. एमती कही परिबनी कि मु अच्छी रही बट मुझे भोट देवी तो भोट दे कि न दियो, you will be counted. Once you have presented means you will be counted in the effective strength. You are not going to be abandoned from the total effective strength. Once you have signed, you are present means divided by, you will going to calculate it in the effective strength, divided by 2 plus 1 need to be there. Okay, so that is your effective strength. Effective strength does not allow you to abstain. Effective strength told that if you are present, you are going to be calculated. Divided by 2 plus 1 will be the majority. Got it? Let's come to next. Special majority. In the special majority, there are also 4 subsections of special majority. And this is very, very important for your prelims perspective. Okay? Very, very important. Choose your every words before choosing it to correct or wrong, right or wrong, before eliminating any options. Just listen to all your lines of the sentence. This is the part where the prelims questions come from. Let's understand about the type 1. In the type 1, when there are 3 central services are there, all India services are there, IAS, IPS and your IFOS, forest service. Okay, these 3 are your all India services are there. Now let us say after some year, Rajya Sabha or the constitutions or the legislatives or both the houses of the parliaments want to add some other posts of all India post to these three they want to add, means all India services. Okay, so in that the big difference between that, because if you get the IS or IPS, you will have a cadre, you will be allotted a particular state, then you will be your job will be there, and other jobs like your IRS or IFS will be job over there where you are going to be transit, means you are not going to be bounded within particular states. Okay, so you will not be allotted within cadre state, and for that reason. Okay, so all India services are 3. Now Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, they wanted especially Rajya Sabha, they wanted to using the article 249, they want to establish another all India services or to add that one. So they need to amend the constitutions, and for that one for that reason they need to pass the bill, and the bill must be passed by 2/3. The bill must be passed by 2/3 of the members of present and voting. Similar cases of present and voting. The present and voting, it means a simple majority, but in the simple majority it was written 50%, but in case of special majority there is a 2/3 majority. For examples, let us say now the same cases we will take. There has been a 543 seats are there. Okay, out of 543, 143 are for let us say 43 are absent, and 100 do not want to participate. The only 400 want to pass the participants. If the 400 want to participate, so we have to calculate 402 by 3. Okay, this much. So means 3 1s are 3, 110, 3 3s are 9, 110, 3 3, 133 point something. Let's 266 plus 1 means 267 vote at least you required. At least you required 267 vote to pass the bill. But in the same cases, whenever we are talking of the simple majority, you required only 201 votes. But here 267 means under article 312, when the legislative assemblies of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, they wanted to pass a bill to add another services to the all India services, they need to pass with a special majority, which has to be 2/3 of the present and voting. Present and voting concept I already explained you. Come to the type 2. In the type 2, this is of article 368, that is amendment of the constitution. Amendment of the constitutions. What it talks about? Its take about you want to amend a constitutional provisions. To amend a constitutional provisions, you need to pass with type 1. Type 1 means what? Type 1 of special majority means 2/3 of the members present and voting plus absolute majority. What is the absolute majority? Total strength divided by 2 means 272 for the Lok Sabha. Let's understand in a very clear way. Let's understand in a clear way. For example, let's say in a particular day under Article 368, there would be there is an impeachment process against the Supreme Court judge of a Supreme Court. Okay, this has been judge of a Supreme Court. It need to be passed under the type 2 of special majority, which is 2/3 of the present and voting of the members plus absolute majority. Let's say on that day 500 legislature are present. Okay, so if I want to, first of all, let's count about the absolute majority. What is the absolute majority? Absolute majority is a 543 divided by 2. Strength of the house divided by 2 is what is equal to 272. And what will be your 2/3 of the present and voting? 500 into 2 by 3rd, 2/3. So it will be 3 1 ja 3, 220, 3 6 ja 8. 8, 3 6 ja 8 means let's say 166, 200, 2, 3, 3 I think I'm right, 2 so 2 1 and yeah 332. Okay, so 332 plus 1 means 333 means 333. So in these cases how many number of voters you need to in the favor? You need to favor of which is the highest. Which one is the highest? 330 is the highest. So at least 333 member need to be vote in support of that, then only you can remove the judge of the High Court or judge of the Supreme Court or CAG or CEC, Chief Election Commission or Controller of Registrar General, CAG you can. So take in another cases is there are 400 lawmakers present on particular day. So what will be 2/3? Let's say 400 2/3. Let's say it will be 267. I think 267. 66 plus 1 203 1 ja 3 3 3 okay, so 261 plus 1, this is 267 people are there. But can you pass with 267? No, this time your absolute majority is higher, so you need to 272 at least. It means either you will have a 2/3 of the members of the present voting or absolute majority, both of them, which will be the higher, that number of voting you need to require. जोटा अधिका थी तुमको से पास करा पड़ा. That is our Article 368. Article 368, what is in the amendment of the Constitution? For whom? To removal of Supreme Court, for removal of Supreme Court or High Court judges, for removal of CAG and for the removal of the CHE. Those are the constitutional bodies. Let's come on another type of constitution. That is Article 368 plus the federal character. What do you mean by federal character? Federal character means any provision in the constitution that deals with the both center as well as the states. For example, you want to amend the fundamental rights, which is in dealing, or you want to, for let's say you want to change one of the which in 7th schedule of in state list, or in the from the state list you want to take is in concurrent list. You want to list 2, you want to take in list 3. For example, there is a list 2, there is a police is there. You want to take out this police from the state list and you want to take is a concurrent list. Concurrent list means जदि तुम स्टेट लिस्ट रो बाहर करके आनी कॉन्क्रेट लिस्ट रे पकाउछ, यार अर्थात है कालीठू पुलिस तुम स्टेट रे केते इम्प्लीमेंट हेबे, पुलिस ऊपर उभय राज्य और केंद्र सरकार पावर रहिबो कि पुलिस कौन. बट एबे पुलिसटा केवल राज्य सरकार पाखरे पावर अछि, जोटा कि स्टेट लिस्ट रे तुमर 7th शेड्यूल रो स्टेट लिस्ट रे लिस्ट नंबर 2 ता भीतर अछि, ताकू करके हम कॉन्क्रेट लिस्ट रे पकेबा. कॉन्क्रेट लिस्ट रे पकेला माने बहुत राज्य सरकार और केंद्र सरकार से माने मिसी कि तांको बोथ पावर रहिबो. सो दिस इज ए फेडरल कैरेक्टर. when you want to change a federal character, you have to do the type 2 after completion of the type 2. Type 2 means what? Either from the 2/3 of the members present and voting or absolute majority, whichever will be the higher. You pass that bill from that constitutions. Then you introduce that, then you told that this bill has been passed, sent to the president. Then the president will, before assenting, they will, the president, he or she will send to all the states. And from all the states, there should be at least 50% of the states. 50%, more than 50% of the states should agree with you. Okay, for example, we have 28 states right now. तो काली जिते सेम दिन हम पुलिस तुम बाहर करके राज्य सरकार चाहिला कि आम ए पुलिस को बाहर कर कनकरेंट लिस्ट पकड़ू. सपोज से एब्सोल्यूट मेजोरिटी और मोर देन 2/3 ऑफ द मेंबर्स प्रेजेंट किसी गोटे लिस्ट है पास होगा. पास होगा से प्रेसिडेंट पाक जीव. प्रेसिडेंट एवं से पठे पूरा 28टा मध्य राज्य को पठेली. तो भितर जदि 15टा राज्य 15 स्टेट्स. ओके, 15 स्टेट्स आउट ऑफ 14 + 1 15 स्टेट्स जदि हाँ कहीदे से बिलटा पास हो. It means when any federal character need to be amended, in that constance there is a special ratifications of more than 50% of the states is required. Ratifications of the more than 50% of the states is required when to amend. This is your type 3. Now come to the type 4. Type 4 is specifically Article 61. Article 61 is impeachment of the president. This is the toughest. This is the toughest among all the majority provisions, and it has been quietly seen that it has not happened, and it is very tough to impeach a president, because it is told that no matter it should be 2/3 of the members of the house. Means previously we told that absolute means strength of the house 50% plus 1 means 272. But in case of president, we tell that this is a absolute type nature, but this time we have to 2/3. 2/3 means 543 divided 2/3 means 3 1 ja 3, 2 3 4, 181 into 2, 3 1 ja 3, 2 4 3 8. Okay, so this will be 2, 6 and 3. At least 362 members need to be vote in favor of the bill to impeach the government. Do you understand that why the constitution's makers have made this one? Because they do not wanted that a single majority party can control the power of the government. For example, if there is not the provisions of ratifications, there is not provision of 2/3, a government may form by 272 seats, but to take the effective majority or to take the special majority of 2/3, they need more than 2/3, more than 50%, 2/3. At least they have to approach some of the oppositions seated here there. Okay, and for that reason, to make it maximum representation of the people, maximum representation of the citizens, maximum representation of the legislature, they divided the special majority for the important constitutional post. For example, High Court judges, Supreme Court judges, CAG, CEC, presidents, removals, and any provisions related to the federal character. So I understand that you have understand this topic in very clear way, and I think if you have find it in good way. So we have launched our OSS 2022 and in our academy, Bharat Siksha Academy. Please contact the number if you want to enroll. The enrollment is going on this coming week. Thank you.